So making your way down, taking your time if you haven't already. And once you arrive on your back, just finding any movement that feels good, maybe taking some windshield wipers with the knees, or maybe taking a full body stretch. You can even hug the knees into the chest and rock around a little if that feels good. Finding any movement you need. And then when you're ready, releasing the legs if they're lifted, and finding any comfortable position where you can find some stillness. Maybe you'd like your knees to be supported by a bolster or a pillow. Maybe you just want to take the feet wide and let the knees rest against each other for some lower back support. Or you can extend the legs long. And beginning to arrive on your mat today, letting the eyes soften or close. And beginning to notice your breath. And seeing if you can allow the back body to grow a little bit heavier. Notice if you're clenching the muscles of the face, the jaw, across the forehead. Notice if you're holding the shoulders up. See if you can release them. Releasing to gravity here. And then if it feels comfortable, maybe take one or both hands to the lower belly. Just feeling the rise and fall of the breath. Seeing if you can begin to deepening the breath in your own time. Feeling that rise and fall get a little bit bigger. And if it's comfortable, staying with this breath, or maybe beginning to breathe in what we would call equal parts breath. So inhaling for the count of 4, and this count can be whatever feels best for you. So I generally will go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then exhaling for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So counting to yourself only if this feels comfortable for you, making the inhale and the exhale the same length. And you might be counting slower than I was, you might be counting faster. And 4 is sort of an arbitrary number, so if you discover that it might feel nice to breathe for a little longer, you can extend your count to 5 and 5, or even 6 and 6. And continuing to count the breath, seeing if you can smooth them out a little bit more. And let's do 2 more rounds. So counting for 2 more inhales, 2 more exhales. And then just allowing your breath to return to its natural rhythm. Noticing how you feel, noticing if there was a shift in your energy. There may not have been. That's totally fine. Just noticing how your body is feeling right now in this moment. And then if you have a dedication or an intention for your practice today, you can go ahead and think of it now. If you do not have one, or if you'd like one that is just a suggestion, maybe you could think of finding ease in each pose. So in each pose that we do today, we're going to take it nice and slow. Maybe you can just consider how you can find a little bit more ease in each pose, how you can soften a little bit more. And then when you're ready, beginning to find some small movements in the body, maybe wiggling the fingers and toes, maybe rotating the wrists and ankles. Maybe gently turning the head from side to side. And then go ahead and interlace the fingers, press the palms up towards the ceiling. Feel that rounding through the back body. And then soften the right elbow, draw that right elbow down towards the floor. So you're drawing the left arm across the chest. The right elbow may not reach all the way to the floor, that's fine. And give it one more breath here. And then bring the palms back up to center, press them up one more time. And then soften the left elbow, draw it down towards the floor, draw the right arm across the chest. And then press the palms back up to center. Release the hands and go ahead and press the hands down against the floor. So on either side, so arms are wide, hands, palms are pressing down into the floor. And then turn the chin towards your right shoulder. And then turn the chin through the center, nice and slow, over towards the left shoulder. Still breathing. Palms are still pressing down. And then bring the chin back to center. Release the arms. And then let's interlace the fingers one more time. And this time we're going to take the hands behind the head. So lifting the head, placing the palms behind it. You can kind of cradle right at the base of the neck or right behind the head, whatever feels comfortable. And if your legs are not extended long, go ahead and extend them. And then let's walk both feet over to the right side of the mat. And then only as much as feels comfortable to you. Scoot the head and the shoulders, upper back over to the right as well. So you're kind of making this banana or moon shape, crescent shape with the body, opening the left side body. And then notice if you're clenching in the legs. Whenever I walk my legs over to the side, I have a tendency to kind of hold them. They're not very relaxed. So I like to cross one ankle over the other. And depending on which one you do, it's going to deepen the stretch. So you can cross the right ankle over the left, or you can cross the left ankle over the right, whichever one feels better for you. And then just see if you can relax the body here, softening. See if you can begin to breathe, feeling the breath moving in that left side body. So imagining the breath filling your whole left side from the tip of that left elbow all the way down to your left pinky toe. Seeing if you can soften the head a little bit more, soften your shoulders. And just let the arms relax. And give it one more deep, deep, full breath here. And then uncross the ankles if they were crossed. Go ahead and walk the feet back to center. Walk the hands back. And the head. Just take a breath here in center for a moment. And then we'll move to the other side. So walk the feet over to the left side of your mat this time. Scoot the head and the shoulders over to the left side as well, only as much as feels comfortable for you. And then you can play with which ankle you'd like to cross if that feels good. Same thing on this side, breathing into the right side body, feeling that extension, that opening. Filling that space from top to bottom with the breath. Seeing if you can soften the feet just a little bit more, softening the elbows. And let's give it 2 more full rounds of breath on this side. And then slowly uncross the ankles if they were crossed. Walk the feet back to center. Walk the head and shoulders back to center. You can release the arms now. Go ahead and bend the knees and draw them into the chest. Maybe rocking a little side to side here if that feels good. And then go ahead and release your feet to the mat. And then draw your right knee into the chest. And if you'd like to use a strap here, you can. If you need to get up and grab it, go ahead. Otherwise, we're not going to be here for long. You can just extend the right toes up towards the ceiling. So you can keep as much of a bend in that right knee as you'd like. And you're gently encouraging the right leg towards your front body. Maybe flexing and pointing the toe here, the toes on that right foot. Maybe taking some ankle circles. If you're circling the ankle, make sure you go in both directions. And giving it one more breath. And then if you'd like, you can just hold here for one more breath, or if you want on your next exhale, squeezing the belly button down towards your mat, drawing the nose up towards the knee. And then slowly release. Let's go ahead and rebend that right knee and cross the right ankle over the left thigh. So the left knee is bent, right ankle is crossed over that left thigh, right knee is going out to the right. So maybe staying here, maybe this is enough of hip opener for so early for you. And go ahead and actively press your right knee down. So down towards the bottom of your mat. So that's going to help you open that hip more. You can use your hand here as well, but you can also just press the knee. That right foot is flexed and active. And you can stay here, or if you'd like to thread the needle, go ahead, lifting that left foot off the mat. You can always use your strap behind the left knee or thigh if you need a little arm extender here. If you're lifting that left foot, go ahead and flex it as well. So flex both feet. Breathing here. See if you can still press that right knee a little bit further down, even if your legs are lifted. Taking a deep, full breath in. A long sigh out. Soften the head, the neck, the shoulders. Give it one more deep, deep, full breath. And then nice and slow, release the hands or the strap, release that left foot to the mat, uncross the right knee. Take your feet as wide as your yoga mat and do some windshield wipers with the knees, nice and slow. And then drawing the feet back to hip distance apart. Let's draw the left knee into the chest. And if you'd like, extend that left foot up towards the ceiling. You can use a strap here if you want, or just hold on to the leg. You're gently encouraging the left leg towards the front body, pointing and flexing the toes, maybe taking some ankle circles, breathing into the back of that leg. Make sure you circle both ways if you're circling the ankle. Maybe see if you can draw that leg in a little bit closer. You can always lift the hands further up the leg if that feels good. And then either staying here for one more breath, or if you'd like, peeling the nose up towards the knee, belly buttons drawing down. And then slowly release the head. And go ahead and cross that left ankle over the right thigh. So the left knee is going out to the left. That left foot is flexed and active. And you can use the hand to gently press down here, or you can just press with the knee down towards the bottom of your mat. It's a little more of an active reclined pigeon here. And you can stay here, or you can press off through that right foot and go ahead and thread the needle. If you're lifting the right foot, both feet are going to flex. Still pressing that left knee actively down. Take a deep, deep breath. And as you let it go, soften the shoulders, soften the neck, the face. Breathing into that left hip. And give it one more deep, deep, full breath wherever you are. And then slowly release the hands or the strap. If the leg was lifted, go ahead and lower it. Uncross that left ankle. Take your feet wide and do windshield wipers one more time. And then let's take the bottoms of the feet together, knees wide. So finding our reclined cobbler or butterfly. Hands can come to the belly, or they can reach up overhead, creating that diamond shape with the arms and the legs. Give it one more deep belly breath. And then release the arms down if they were lifted. Gently close the knees. And let's roll onto one side, whichever side feels more comfortable to you. And gently press yourself up to a seat. If you'd like to take a moment to sit on a pillow or a bolster, please do. We're going to be seated for a moment here. All right. Always feeling like you can grab a sip of water if you need to. Okay. So from our seat, let's reach the right hand out on the mat and then lift the left hand up and over. Find your side bend to the right. So that left hip is nice and heavy and grounded. And then maybe find a little movement here. Maybe rotating that left wrist, maybe gently turning the head side to side. Give it one more breath. And then slowly come back up. Let's find a gentle seated twist to the right. So left hand comes to the right leg. Sitting up nice and tall here. And again, maybe finding a little bit of movement in the neck. So maybe taking the chin back over to the left. And then moving it back to the right, moving nice and slow if you're moving. And then slowly unwind from your twist, come back to center. And let's take our side bend to the left. So left hand extends out, right hand reaches up and over. Right hip is nice and heavy, and find some movement here if it feels good, rotating the wrist. Again, maybe turning the head side to side. And then slowly come back up to sit. We're going to find our twist to the left this time, sitting up nice and tall. And if it feels good, you can move the chin back and forth. So turning the head very slowly. And then slowly come back to center. And let's take the right fingertips to the right shoulder and drop that elbow down. So you're not pulling here, the fingers are just lightly resting, but you're feeling like you're tagging a lot of weight into that right elbow. And then go ahead and drop the left ear over the left shoulder. Breathing here, this might be enough for you. Softening the knees if you can while still sitting up nice and tall. And maybe staying here or maybe floating the left fingertips to rest right behind that right ear. And again, not pulling with either hand, just letting gravity help you here. Give it one more breath wherever you are. And then slowly release the left hand. Bring the head back up to center, release the right hand, and let's take some shoulder rolls. And we'll move into the other side. So left fingertips come to the left shoulder, drop that left elbow down, tag a lot of weight into it. And when you're ready, right ear comes over the right shoulder. And breathing into the left side of the neck. And if you'd like, you can bring the right fingertips to rest behind the left ear. Remembering not to pull here, just using gravity. Give it one more deep, deep breath into the left side of the neck. And then slowly release the right hand, release the left fingertips, bring the head back to center, and do a couple more shoulder rolls here. All right, we're gonna come into table. So go ahead and move your props aside if you need to, or grab them if you need to pad the knees or the wrists, for example. All right. So from your table, take a moment here, make sure your hips are over your knees. Hands can be right below the shoulders or they can be a little bit in front. And then just begin to take yourself through cat-cow. So dropping the belly as you inhale, opening the chest. Exhale, rounding through the spine. See if you can really slow this movement down today, really feeling this articulation through every part of the spine. Moving with your own breath. Do 2 more rounds. And then come back to neutral table. And let's go ahead and thread the needle here. So left hand is going to stay planted. On your inhale, right fingertips are going to reach. Try and keep the hips squared if you can. And exhale, we're just going to dip that right hand under the left arm. And inhale to open. And exhale, dip that hand under. One more time. Inhale, reach. And exhale, thread your needle. Maybe take a block under the head today for a little bit of a lift. Creating space in the shoulder, in the side body. If both knees are on the floor, see if you can pull that left hip a little bit back so your hips stay square. Give it one more breath wherever you are. And then nice and slow, draw that left hand back if you had extended it. Start to press yourself back up. And we'll take the other side. So right hand stays planted this time. On your inhale, left fingertips reach, keep the hips square. Exhale, just dip the left hand under the right arm. And inhale to lift and open. Exhale, dip that hand under. One more time. Inhale, reach. And exhale, thread the needle. Finding any comfortable version that feels good to you. You can use a block if you want a little more space in the neck. You can extend that right hand towards the top of your mat. If both knees are down, you can always extend that right leg. But if they are both down, draw that right hip back. Breathing wherever you are. And give it one more breath. And then slowly release the right hand or draw it back. Use it to help you press back up to table. And then let's grab both of our blocks and set them up near the top of our mat or just in front of us. We're going to go into a lunge sequence here. So if you need to pad your knees during lunges, go ahead and pad the left knee. We're going to step that right foot forward. So take your time. Blocks can be on any height here. We're just trying to make sure that when we sink into our lunge, that knee is directly above the ankle. Find a little bit of a lift in the chest here. And see if you can drop the hips a little bit more forward. Give it one more breath. And now we're going to start to move a little bit with the breath. So your hands can stay on the blocks, or you can change them if you need to. We're going to keep the right foot flat on the mat while we move. So on your inhale, stay here. And on your exhale, start to send the hips back. Straighten only as much as you want through that right leg and find a gentle fold. So it's almost like a little cat-cow with our lunges. Inhale to come forward. Open the heart. And exhale, send the hips back. Draw that head down. So moving with your own breath, finding your own rhythm here. Let's do 2 more rounds. And last round. And come back to your low lunge with the knee bent for 1 breath. And then take your time to step that right knee back. And go ahead and release the hands to the mat for a moment. And just send your hips side to side, looking over opposite shoulders. And then come back to center table. Go ahead and step that left foot forward. Take as much time as you need. Make any adjustments here. Make sure to pad that right knee if you need to. Finding a little bit of a sink in the hips and the pelvis forward. Opening the chest, the heart here. Let's give it one more breath here and then we'll start to move. So inhale in your forward position, lifting the heart. And exhale, start to send the hips back. Only straightening that front leg as much as feels comfortable to you, finding a little fold, a tuck of the chin. And on your inhale, coming forward again, moving with your breath. And exhaling, hips go back. Couple more rounds. Taking your time. Let's do one more round. And then coming forward again into your low lunge. Opening the front of that right hip, opening the chest for one breath. And then slowly releasing that left knee back to the mat. You can set the blocks aside. And taking a moment to find child's pose or puppy posture, whichever version feels comfortable for you. You can take a block under the forehead if you need to. Hips can stay lifted or they can lower. And taking a moment here, maybe rocking the forehead side to side. Softening the front body, letting it melt down towards your mat. And breathing into the back body. Give it one more deep, deep breath here. Maybe sigh out your exhale. See if you can release even further. And then walk your hands back. Let's press up to table. And we're going to come all the way down onto our belly. So I'm actually going to turn around here. So make your way down onto your belly, nice and slow. And let's take the hands right under the shoulders. We'll do a couple cobra rolls. Release the forehead to the mat. Press the hip bones down, press the tops of the feet down. Elbows are hugging into the side body. They're kind of bent like little grasshopper legs here. And on your inhale, press the hips down. Inhale, elbows draw back as the chest lifts, the forehead lifts, not a very tall lift. And exhale, release. 2 more times. Inhale, rolling up through the chest. And exhale, lower. Hips are still pressing down, glutes are engaged. 1 more time. Inhale. And exhale, lower. And then let's take the elbows down to the mat. So we're coming into Sphinx arms now. So the elbows are going to be right underneath the shoulders. Hips are still pressing down, tops of the feet. And your gaze is coming a few feet out in front of you on the floor. So draw the shoulders down away from the ears, press into your elbows. And then a couple of options here. You can stay right here in your Sphinx, or you can take that right arm and keep the elbow where it is, draw the palm towards the center of your mat. So you're just rotating that arm. And then maybe take that left hand and look over your left shoulder. So my left hand's coming out to the side. I'm doing a little bit of a twist. If you'd like to go even further, right arm's going to move over a little bit more. I'm going to bend my left leg. My foot's coming towards my glute, and I'm going to reach back with that left hand and grab hold of it. Either side, whichever one's comfortable. See if you can still keep both hips pressing down. Give it one more breath wherever you are. And then release the foot if you were holding on to it. Come back to center. Just release your forehead down. Palms stack, elbows out to the side. Release your forehead to your hands. Breathing right here in the center. 3 breaths into the low back. And then slowly press yourself back up to Sphinx. Maybe staying here, pressing the elbows down, pressing the hip bones down. Or if you'd like, start to dial that left hand over towards the right. Elbow can move a little bit, that's okay, especially if you're going to look over your shoulder. And then maybe just looking over the shoulder. You're still trying to press both hips down, so you're really turning only from the upper back. Maybe staying here. Or maybe bending that right foot, reaching that right arm back and grabbing hold of it. Maybe not. Again, pressing both hips down. Getting a nice little quad stretch here as well as a back stretch. Give it one more breath wherever you are. And then release the feet if you were holding it. Bring yourself back to center. Again, stack the palms, release the forehead to the hands. Breathing into the back. And then draw the hands under the shoulders. Use them to press yourself back up to table. And let's come to a seat. Excuse me. And go ahead and grab one of your blocks. So we're going to come into our seat. I'll face sideways so you can see what I'm doing. And we're going to come into butterfly or cobbler. So soles of the feet are going to come together. Knees are wide. Make sure you have your block. And we're going to slide the feet a little bit further away from us than we normally would in cobbler. And then take your block and put it on your feet. So I have mine on the second setting. So you can also put it up on the highest setting. You kind of will have to adjust a little bit when we get into the pose and you can see how it feels. You may decide you don't want to use the block and that's fine as well. So let's inhale, sit up nice and tall. And on your exhale, just start to drape your front body over your legs. Maybe walking the hands out in front. And the goal here, I'm going to need to turn mine because my hips are not feeling super flexible today. The goal is to release your forehead to the block. You can also try taking 2 blocks and stacking them on top of each other if your forehead doesn't reach all the way down. You just don't want to have to hold the weight of the head. Your body is going to release more if the head is supported. So wherever you are, breathing into the back body. Soften the neck, soften the face, soften your shoulders. See if you can start to slow your breath down. Maybe making the exhales a little bit longer than the inhales. And give it one more deep breath here. And then nice and slow, use your hands to help you start to walk yourself back up. You can remove the block. I don't know why, but that one always feels really good to me. All right. I mean, that is part of the point. So let's close the knees. We're going to make our way back onto our back. Keep your block nearby. We're going to use it one more time. So coming onto your back. And then when you arrive on your back, maybe doing some windshield wipers if that feels good, or drawing the knees into the chest. And then taking the feet back to hip distance, go ahead and grab your block. And let's lift the hips just enough to slide the block under the sacrum. So we're coming into our supported bridge. Finding that sweet spot where you can just release the hips to the block. Maybe opening the arms by the sides, palms face up. Taking some deep, deep, full belly breaths. Finding a little tiny lift of the chin up towards the ceiling. And breathing here. Maybe staying here if this is feeling really comfortable for you today. You can also just play with the feet still on the mat by widening the feet, widening your knees, or maybe extending one leg long down the mat at a time, or you can extend both. So just playing with this gentle back bend. If you'd also like to create a gentle inversion, you can take legs up the block. So you may need to move where the block is placed in order to do that. I usually have to move mine higher. And if you'd like, you can take the feet up with the knees bent, or you can extend them up towards the ceiling. Excuse me. Maybe rolling the ankles or pointing and flexing the feet here. Maybe taking the splits. Or maybe finding any other movement that feels good. Just remembering to move nice and slow like you're moving through water. Staying with your breath. Excuse me. Taking 2 more rounds of breath to play or to stay in stillness. And then if your legs are lifted, go ahead and bend them. Release the feet to the mat. Press the feet and lift the hips just enough to remove the block and set it aside before rolling down nice and slow. And then when your hips land, go ahead and draw the knees into the chest. And then either open the arms out into cactus arms with the elbows bent or extend them wide to either side. And then when you're ready, just drop the knees over to the right, releasing them to the floor or a block. And keeping that left shoulder on the mat if you can. Maybe turning the chin to look to the left if that feels good on your neck. Seeing if you can allow the knees to grow heavy here. Allow the shoulders and arms to relax. Breathing into the left side of the rib cage, the whole left side of the body. And giving it one more breath wherever you are. And then taking the chin back to center if the head was turned. Slowly engaging your core to draw one leg back to center and then the other. And when you're ready, we'll take our supine twist on the other side. So dropping your knees over to the left. If it's comfortable, you can turn your chin to the right. Breathing into the right side of the body. Feeling that gentle expansion in the right side of the ribs. And softening the shoulders, the knees, the hips a little bit more to gravity. And give it one more breath. And then draw the head back to center if it was turned. Slowly draw the knees back to center as well. Maybe hug them into the chest, give them a big squeeze. If you'd like, you can draw the nose up towards the knees, curling into a little ball. And then gently release. We're going to begin to set up for our Shavasana now. So taking any other movement you might need on the way there. And just as an option for your Shavasana today, I invite you to find a version of reclined cobbler with a bolster. Just another little heart opener. This is not comfortable for everyone. You may need to press back up to a seat before you can grab your props. So I'm going to demonstrate what this looks like. You're going to take your block. Block can really be any direction. And then you're going to lay the bolster on top of it so the top part of the bolster is propped up. And you're going to sit your hips back so that they're touching the bolster. There should be no space between your back and the bolster. And then laying back over it. And knees can stay up, or you can bring the soles of the feet together again. And knees wide. So wherever your final resting pose is, finding a comfortable position for you. Allowing the eyes to soften or close. And let's all take a deep, deep, full breath into the belly. Open the mouth and sigh it out. 2 more times. Deep, deep, full belly breath. Long letting go, sigh out. And one more time, deepest breath you've taken all day. And let everything go. Release anything you're holding on to. Just letting go of anything that's weighing you down in the heart, in the body, in the mind. Creating space for new energy. Absorbing the effects of your practice. And just taking a few more quiet moments just for yourself. And beginning to slowly deepen your breath. And beginning to find any movement that feels good in the fingers and the toes. Maybe gently turning the head from side to side. If you're up on a bolster or a prop, gently rolling off of it to one side. Before finding any other movement you might need or pressing up to a comfortable seat. Allowing your eyes to soften or to close one more time when you arrive. Sitting up nice and tall. Noticing how you're feeling at the end of your practice. Softening your shoulders down. And if it's comfortable, drawing your hands together at the heart. Sealing in your practice. Taking a quick moment of gratitude to yourself, to this body that supports you, to the breath, to knowing that you can always find this by returning to your mat. I thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.